Welcome back to the Boathouse. This week, Steve adds to his growing collection of spars as he roughs together the bowsprit and the main boom. Remember to like, subscribe, and let it all out in the comments. Check the description below for links to our website where you can grab something for someone for the holidays in the store or become one of our beloved Patreon supporters and help us keep the ball rolling toward launch day. Recently, we were honored with the Friend of Forestry Award from the Massachusetts Forest Alliance, which represents forest landowners, foresters, timber harvesters, and sawmills in Massachusetts. Organizations like these help ensure that the treasures of domestic forests are understood. So much wood for boat building, or any project, can be found right where you live, without taking from rainforests, old-growth stands, or monoculture plantations. The harvesting we've done, for example, has set the stage for young trees to thrive. To learn more, check out massforestalliance.org or check out if there's a similar organization where you are. Back when it was still t-shirt weather and before the shrouds that we saw last week got wrapped up, Steve and Aaron put some of the remaining spruce stock through the thickness planer in the first step toward making the bowsprit as well as the booms for the main and mizzen.
Official respiratory choices.
So these are both wetted out.
Okay.
I'm gonna have you just give me a hand.
Oh, right, the second
Yeah, we gotta.
wet out. Got it.
Ready?
Yep. That's good.
Yeah.
Doing all right over there? Cool.
This way, when I get really mad at someone too, I'll be able to chain them up here and then just go feet
Oh,
to
that makes
windward.
sense. Yeah, you gotta get chained. Yeah, that's true.
And the crew's misbehaving.
That's right. When there's a
I
mutiny.
got a job for you up forward.
Yeah.
Keith did the main mast here and got that all down to its, got to do its final sanding, but it's really close. We have the big blank here glued up and roughed out for the bowsprit. And I've been working on the mizzen boom here. So this is 2 layers glued up, and I've been doing the cutting and the shaping on this. We got given a bronze fitting here, which serendipitously was close enough that did a little bit of trimming, and that will work. So we'll have to fabricate a fitting here and a mast band, but the gooseneck portion is done. And this started as all of these did, with a square stock, and it's brought down to this round with a taper. So it's thinner here and fattest here, and then getting thinner again at the tip. So it's a bit of a process between making it from square to round, but also getting that taper put in. And that is what this whole mass of lines is about. This kind of looks like something a crazy person would draw, but these are all of the marks and all of the cuts that I need to make to take this down and make it from 4-sided down to 8-sided, which in there we can go to a round. So I'm going to show you on one side of this I haven't marked out yet, and we'll go through the process of getting all of these lines drawn. Some of these lines are going to disappear on the first cut, and I'm going to have to redraw them, but having them all drawn out once lets us see that everything intersects, and we can be sure that the lines are all where they need to be, and we can make our first cuts and redraw them and make some more cuts. Let's go take a gander at the plans. So what we're working on is the main boom here. And you can see the 15 foot 3 inches, that refers to the sail. The 15 foot 8 inches refers to the full length of the boom. And it's 2 3/4 at the gooseneck where it meets the mast. And it's 3 3/8 at the tail end here. And not in the middle, more like 2/3 towards the tail end, it's 3 3/4. So it's 3 3/8 swelling to 3 3/4, and then tapering all the way down to 2 3/4. And that's the shape that we need to get out of that square. So the biggest dimension in circumference is 3 3/4. So we're starting with 3 3/4 square here. So at our widest, we don't want to take anything off. And we have our 15 foot 8, it's already cut to length. And the first step is to mark a center. So I don't know if you all know this trick, but we could take 3 3/4 and divide it in half, which is easy enough to do, but it involves math. The other thing that you can do is put the corner on and go at a diagonal to an even number. That's easy. So in this case, 4 is close. So then if we mark 2, that should be our center. So 1 7/8, 1 7/8. And then we can take a gauge here, which I already have set, and we can line it up. And that'll give us our centers. Now we can just run that down the board. Sometimes it wants to run away with the grain in these softwoods. Yeah, look at center line lines up with our center line. It's part of the reason we draw all the lines. So now we have center line to work off of, and the fattest part of the mast is about 5 feet from the aft end. So I measure 5 feet from the aft end, and we get here. And we want to make sure that this is a smooth taper from its fattest to its thinnest. So what we don't want is two planes that run up to a point. So we want to take what our fattest section is and put it either side just a little bit and then do our taper, so that when we fair, our tapers come in and they round nicely and they don't just come to this hard point in the center. So I want to move to the aft end and the fore end a little bit of this. And to be totally honest, I partially made this decision based on this Festool track, because I need to make a whole bunch of straight lines, and this track will reach to here, and our fattest part is supposed to be here. So I'm just going to make this part the fattest part. We're going to fair that in, and it's going to make my life easier using the shorter track instead of the much longer track. And because these are wooden spars on a wooden boat, the tolerances of whether our fattest point is here or here isn't going to make a whole world of difference. We're talking about fractions of inches, and these are not built to such tolerances where that tiny minute difference is going to make any real issue. So make life simple, use the track. So we have our 2 spots here where we're going to do our full thickness. We're going to taper from either ends, and that'll end up putting our full thickness somewhere in here once that finally all gets faired out. And now we got to draw some circles. These 2 are super easy because we want full thickness, so we don't have to pull any measurements at all. Just stick the dividers in the center, follow our squared line out, and make a circle. So right here we want full width. So when we shape this, we're gonna make it round, but we're gonna leave as much material as possible. And when we go to either end, these circles are gonna become smaller, and we're gonna end up cutting material off. So the aft end here is 3 3/8, and I used the ruler and found the radius and marked these earlier, but I'm just gonna copy it from here. Mark on that center line. All right, so that is the aft end, 3 3/8. We'll go to the fore end and do the skinny one. You can see how much of a difference here it is from the forward end to the aft end. So we'll take that up. So this will give us a 2 3/4 diameter. Mark this circle. Now we can mark for our first cuts. So we need to join the outer edges of this circle to the outer edges of this circle, and then the same thing on the other end. So since these are perfectly one Festool track apart, let's use that. And this is going to give us our taper. It takes a few hours to make all these lines, but they are worth making because then the cutting and the shaping goes really quick and there's virtually no guesswork. This seems like a lot of lines, but it starts to make sense. So if we cut to these lines, we'll have our taper. And now I want to mark where the 45 lines are going to go. So we could do a whole bunch of math to figure all that out, or we can use the tri-square. Now I already drew these lines, but here's our center lines. So that let me prick the center and draw how big the boom needs to be here. And then squared off the edges, and those are where we're going to cut to. So we're going to cut down that line, and we're going to cut that line so that we have a square that's the correct size. then the next cut is going to be to take these 45s off. So if I put this on here and I run it up until it's the edge of the circle and mark it, and then come across from the side, go until square across until I get to the top of the circle, mark that across, I get this point is what I'm looking for. And when I square that point up, that will give me the 45 that I need to cut. So I just put the square on there, and we're coming back to this point. And that's where I need to start my 45 cut. But that will be down here once the rest of this timber is taken away. So we're going to end up losing that line, and we'll end up redrawing it a little bit later. But that's giving us this shape around the spar. And then all we have to do is knock the corners off and round it out. So I'm going to go mark the aft end, and then we're going to take this to the bandsaw and get that cut. I'm not going to mark the 45s on this because it lines up on all the other 3 sides, so it's pretty safe to assume it's going to line up on this one, and I'm going to lose them when I cut it with the bandsaw anyways and have to redraw them. But we do need to put the taper into the other end, and that I can do with the ruler, which is a little easier than the long track. Should we go to the bandsaw and buzz these off? I bandsawed the taper in, I hit it with the joiner plane, and now have these faces smoothed, and then redrew the lines. So I redrew the center line, and where the 45 cuts across, I marked those as well. And since we didn't remove any width from the center section here, these remained unmolested, so I could just connect the dots from one end to the other. And this is our last face here that we need to mark. So I need to find where I need to start the 45 cuts in here. And how we're going to do that is, first off, connect this straight edge here in the middle and get our center. So we have it here, and we have it here, because we marked all this already. So there's my center, there's my edge of the 45, there's my other edge of the 45. And now for this, all we're gonna do is put the square on here on the non-tapered edge. It's another perk with having a little straight section. I'm gonna go to the edge, mark that across. And I'm gonna mark it 45. And 45. And this spot right here is where we want to cut to with our 45, and that'll give us 8 equal-sided faces. So we just got to connect our center line and these with the ones on the end. Do that one more time down here, and we'll be ready to cut. There's our 45.
Really good.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Should we go take apart a bowsprit?
Yes, we should.
I've been waiting on you.
Got enough screwdrivers, sir?
I got too many. Oh, I have one of those. Actually, make that. I have 2 of those.
You have 2 bitten braces?
I think. Yeah. One I found in an old garage, and the other one I got as a Christmas present.
Nice. Who gave it to you as a present?
My dad.
So be gentle, because I want to reuse that, so try not to damage it.
Okay. I'll try my hardest. Ah. Yep, okay. Even trying my hardest, this is not working.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure, totally. Go right on ahead.
I would hit it with something.
Milk?
but I would hit it with something that's softer than the bronze so you don't dent the bronze.
Like that pipe right there?
No, that pipe is steel. That'll be harder than the bronze. The wooden mallets won't be harder than the bronze.
Good idea.
Or a rubber mallet. And I don't think you're going to have to hit it super hard. So hit it like right in here or right in here and start light and then work harder. Okay. It still doesn't want to come off, huh? Alright. I don't want to damage it. Here, look how we gotta get the track out of here. You got that?
Acres. It's really heavy.
Can you see the mallet?
Sure.
So if we hit this up here, there's the potential that we're gonna bend it. The lower we hit, the harder we can hit without risking damaging it. Ooh, there it goes.
There goes some wood with it.
Yeah. Some strong bedding compound.
Where do I put this thing?
That's gonna go in the garage with the rest of Victoria's stuff in the back.
In which back of which bay?
Which back of which bay? I will take it. I'll show you.
You know.
All right, so I'll take that. I want you to look at those bow rollers and come up with a plan of how you think we should get them off there without damaging them. All right, what's your plan?
I went and asked KP how rivets worked,
Okay.
and they say we either have to cut that off or do something or drill it.
What do you think we should do?
I'd say drilling would be the most efficient way.
You are correct. All right, go ahead. Okay, stop. Let's see how we're getting to the edge here. We don't want to start drilling into that roller.
So it should be 11.
Yeah. We're a little behind.
17. 16.
Slow down, the days are going by so fast.
14. 13.
Slow down!
11?
Time.
It's supposed to be 11, right?
I think so.
That's 11. I think this, ripping out.
2 at a time. Oh my gosh. Aaron, father of time.
I'm not. No.